welcome to my newest video. It's great to be back. I know last video was uploaded kind of late, and I apologize for that. There were a lot of things going on that week, and honestly it was a little more of a higher effort video because of the research I had to do, but I'm glad that people liked it, and thank you for being patient and waiting for the next one. So in today's video, I'm going to be taking the Myers-Briggs personality test, which is a very common personality test that people like to take. There are 16 different variants of, I guess, a personality that you can be or that they label you as. So we're going to see what I am today. I've taken it multiple times in the past, but today I'm going to be doing it again, seeing if any of my answers have changed. And I encourage you throughout this video to maybe keep track of your answers as well, because I'll be reading all of the questions out loud and seeing if you fit into any of these personality types. Maybe you could take it later or alongside me. So I hope you enjoy the video, and just a couple of notes. Thank you for the new donations to my GoFundMe. I wasn't able to properly thank everyone last video because it was a roleplay, but in this video I would like to thank everyone who has added on to the initial donation that was donated to my GoFundMe page. I will link it again in this description, but again, no obligation to donate, and thank you again to all the donors. Thank you also for the requests that you guys have given me, including this personality test one. I actually wasn't even aware that this was a big thing. I have seen a couple of these videos around, but I hadn't picked up on the fact that a lot of people really like them, so it was really great to hear. And next week I think I'll be taking another recommendation, so please leave recommendations in the comments. Also, I think maybe I'll be doing commissions soon, or custom videos. If you would be interested in that, please let me know. I'm not sure if it's something that I should pick up, or what kind of rates I should charge, or things like that, but I understand that some people are looking for something specific. So if that is the case, let me know, and I will maybe get into that. I'm not exactly sure yet. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. I guess the last point is that please don't leave creepy comments in my comment section. I've had a couple of comments that kind of rub me the wrong way, so I would prefer if nothing of the sort of any kind of like romantic or otherwise inappropriate comments were made in my comment section. Please make sure that creepy comments are kept at a minimum. I will keep manually removing them if I have to, because I have a small enough comment section that I can, but please just refrain from making those comments. It makes me uncomfortable, and it is very inappropriate for the situation, so thank you very much. And with that, we can get started. So we are going to be taking the 16 personalities test, as I said, and I will be looking away for a lot of this video, and I apologize. I've been trying to learn to look more into the camera when I speak. I think it is a lot better of a way to communicate to you guys, so I've been trying to do that more often, but for the purposes of this video I have my laptop in the corner, so I'm going to be looking at that for the majority of the time, and I'll be doing this in soft spoken as I'm currently speaking. So let's get started. The first statement: you regularly make new friends, and this is on a scale of agree to disagree. So there's one neutral bubble, and then 3 agree bubbles, gradually getting more on the agree side, and then 3 disagree bubbles, getting gradually more on the disagree side. So I'm going to say a small agree. You spend a lot of your free time exploring various random topics that pique your interest. I would say regularly. Yeah. Seeing other people cry can easily make you feel like you want to cry too. Yeah, sometimes. You often make a backup plan for a backup plan. I would say so. Yeah. I don't like not knowing about the future. I like knowing about the future, and if something comes up in which I can't predict what will happen, what the outcome is, I will provide a backup. You usually stay calm even under a lot of pressure. I would say I'm neutral to that. At social events, you rarely try to introduce yourself to new people and mostly talk to the ones you already know. Yes, definitely. I'm very bad in large social situations. I really like small groups, but larger groups kind of scare me. I don't go to parties. I don't do any of that. I don't hang out with more than like 10 people at one time. So it's definitely preferred for me to hang out with people that I know. You prefer to completely finish one project before starting another. I'm going to slightly disagree on that, only because I get distracted very easily, so I get unfocused a lot, and I like to switch between homework assignments and like being on my phone and recording and writing things down and all that. You're very sentimental. Slightly agree. I'm pretty sentimental when it comes to personal things, but I guess with other people I tend to think a lot more logically. You like to use organizing tools like schedules and lists. Somewhat disagree, only because I forget to use them. Even a small mistake can cause you to doubt your overall abilities and knowledge. This used to be a much bigger problem for me, but I would say it's only a smaller problem for me right now. I used to get really affected by something, like if I got a question wrong in a subject that I thought I knew well, I would be really affected by that. You feel comfortable just walking up to someone you find interesting and striking up a conversation. No. You are not too interested in discussing various interpretations and analyses of creative works. Strongly disagree. I love hearing multiple perspectives. You are more inclined to follow your head than your heart. Relatively agree, although I will say that emotional takes are not exactly illogical takes. I think that many people mistake emotions for like a mistake or not a good guideline to follow, and I will say that if you think through things more, then you probably will make a more educated decision, but feeling things is not necessarily a bad thing, and making a decision based on how you feel is not always a bad decision. It honestly depends on the situation, but certain things cannot always be thought through logically, and I would take something even as analytical as, say, a college decision, because I know a lot of people rank colleges, and there's a lot of different numbers that you can put into whether to make a decision for a good college or a bad college, but a lot of college decision making comes from a gut feeling and how you feel initially about a college, or when you visit you get a vibe, you get an energy, and that's what makes a college experience a worthwhile experience and a good experience. Because it's true that a lot of people can go to college just for education, and that honestly tends to be more the case for like really big, really prestigious universities than it is for smaller ones or lesser known ones, just because I think a lot of people mistake that huge ranking or that prestigious nature for something that equals like a good community or a healthy environment or things that they otherwise might be looking for. So just balance it out, I guess. It takes some time to know like when you'll be making a sound decision, but it's neither side is necessarily a bad thing. You usually prefer just doing what you feel like at any given moment instead of planning a particular daily routine. I would say so. Yeah. You rarely worry about whether you will make a good impression on people you meet. Strongly disagree. First impressions are very important in my perspective, and therefore I think they're so important for other people, and I get super worried. You enjoy participating in group activities. Yeah, generally. You like books and movies that make you come up with your own interpretation of the ending. I love that. I love open-ended, like, anything. I love hypothetical scenarios. I love talking about ethics. Things that don't have answers. Things that have multiple answers. It's kind of weird because I also really like science, and I'm going to college for science, but in general, talking about things that are just subjects to talk about and may not actually have an answer that pertains to anything that matters is pretty fun. Your happiness comes more from helping others accomplish things than your own accomplishments. Disagree. I love seeing other people happy, and I believe people are the most important thing in my life. But I don't exactly put their accomplishments above my own accomplishments, or think that helping them is more important than helping myself. I think that can be kind of confused for caring for other people, when really it might be putting yourself second. So there is definitely a boundary to work with there. You're interested in so many things that you find it difficult to choose what to try next. I would say I slightly disagree to that, just because I don't find interest in a lot of things really, really intensely. I find interest in a few things and then stick to those and then keep it going. But generally, it's like I can manage it for sure. You are prone to worrying that things will take a turn for the worse. Slightly agree. I'm a pretty pessimistic person. I believe in a lot of values that I think have a lot of potential. I think, and that can be considered pretty idealistic, but in general, about how those values actually apply and how I think they will actually work, I don't think that a lot of them will pan out, at least within my lifetime. And I think maybe it's a little bit of a selfish opinion to have, but I like to work on things actively that will have an impact in my lifetime, which is why that I like to work on like things that are more applied than things that are more theoretical. So when it comes to science, I don't like I wouldn't get a math degree, because math is a very theoretical thing on its own. I would say something like physics, which is not something that I'm interested in either, just because it's too many numbers, but something like physics is more applied, and I think can have a bigger impact on the real world, like tomorrow or like within the next week. I think math, like as a core concept, takes a lot longer time, a lot longer of a period of time to transfer into something that's useful, I guess. Maybe I'm completely misreading it, but that's what I get from it. So yeah. You avoid leadership roles in group settings. Disagree. You are definitely not an artistic type of person. Slightly agree. I like to think more analytically. You think the world would be a better place if people relied more on rationality and less on their feelings. Slightly disagree. You prefer to do your chores before allowing yourself to relax. Pretty strongly disagree. Generally disagree, just because I think it would be more effective if I chose to do it that way, but I don't, because I'm lazy. You enjoy watching people argue. I'm not proud of watching people argue or liking it, but I will watch like drama channels sometimes and like, try and look for things. I don't start anything. I don't try and start anything, but I will look around for things that other people have started and like just spectate on that, because I think it's fun, as long as it's not too serious. You tend to avoid drawing attention to yourself. Very strongly agree. Your mood can change very quickly. I'd say generally disagree. I keep a pretty steady feeling throughout the day. You lose patience with people who are not as efficient as you. I would say slightly agree. I'm not a very patient person. I'm a very, I don't know, I tend to react pretty quickly, and when something is not completed on time, or I have to wait, or I don't know when it's going to be completed, like again, I don't like not knowing about the future, and it makes me very impatient. I'd rather know than not. You often end up doing things at the last possible moment. Pretty strongly agree. You have always been fascinated by the question of what, if anything, happens after death. Strongly agree. Strongly agree. And I've actually been recently thinking about it more, just from like a technical perspective. It's been kind of creeping me out more because I've been thinking about it in a lot of a deeper way, but it's also very interesting to think about. You usually prefer to be around others rather than on your own. Slightly agree. I like to think of an introvert, but with the people I'm closest with, I could spend a lot of time with. Generally, I prefer to be with others, doing something with them, than being on my own, but I also really enjoy alone time. You become bored or lose interest when the discussion gets highly theoretical. Agree. As I said, I love applied things. You find it easy to empathize with a person whose experiences are very different from yours. Empathize is a weird word to use here because I don't think you can empathize with a person whose experiences are very different. I would say neutral, just because I can sympathize, I guess, if different people are going through different things that are similar in concept to maybe what I'm going through, but just different in application. But maybe slightly agree. But I don't know. Empathize is just a strange word to use there. You usually postpone finalizing decisions for as long as possible. Disagree. I love making decisions as soon as possible because, again, I'm a very impatient person. You rarely second guess the choices that you have made. Disagree. I always second guess the choices that I've made because, again, I like a lot of certainty in what I do, and if I make a wrong decision or if I make any decision, I will always be like, well, what if the other thing happened, or what if I chose to do another thing? How would it have turned out for me? Would it have been better? Did I make a mistake? And that's always something that's on my mind. After a long and exhausting week, a lively social event is just what you need. Disagree. I love hanging out with friends, but if it's gonna be after a long week and if I'm tired, I will spend as much time as I can on my own. You enjoy going to art museums. Generally agree. There are plenty around where I live, so it's nice. You often have a hard time understanding other people's feelings. Disagree. I think I've thought about so many emotions because I had a pretty hard time a couple of years ago, and during these past couple of years, I focused a lot on kind of knowing how to process my emotions and pretty fully flush all of them out and making sure that I have healthy coping mechanisms. So with that comes understanding of emotions in general and therefore other people's emotions. You like to have a to-do list for each day. Disagree. I never make a to-do list. I play it all by ear. Well, I guess, okay. Yeah, disagree. You rarely feel insecure. I'm gonna do a slightly disagree for that, just because I feel like I'm still not fully comfortable in my own skin. Comfortable in my abilities, comfortable in my value as a person. I'm getting a lot better, but I think there's still progress that I need to make, and I'm in the middle of heat, so I think it's alright. You avoid making phone calls. Agree. Generally agree. Yeah, I prefer texting. You often spend a lot of time trying to understand views that are very different from your own. Agree. So strongly agree. I love hearing different voices, and I want to really get into the mindset of somebody else because maybe there's something I'm missing, or maybe there's a way where I can see, their point of view, and it makes discussions a lot easier. In your social circle, you are often the one who contacts your friends and initiates activities. Slightly agree. Sometimes I wait for other people to be like, hey, let's do a group activity. But if it's like a one-on-one activity, usually I'll be the one to reach out. If your plans are interrupted, your top priority is to get back on track as soon as possible. I'd say slightly agree. There have not been many times in my life where plans are super intensely interrupted. I've pretty much been kind of a go-with-the-flow person just because everything has been working out generally how I've wanted it to. So it's not always that bad. You are still bothered by mistakes that you made a long time ago. Sometimes, yes. I understand that moving on is an important thing, and in general, I would say I move on pretty well, but there are some things that just, I still just, I'm embarrassed that I made those mistakes, and I guess that's a good thing, because it shows that I've grown. You rarely contemplate the reasons for human existence or the meaning of life. Strongly disagree. Your emotions control you more than you control them. Disagree. You take great care not to make other people look bad, even when it's completely their fault. Strongly disagree. I will make another person look bad if I want to. Your personal work style is closer to spontaneous bursts of energy than organized and consistent efforts. I would say generally agree with that. When someone thinks highly of you, you wonder how long it will take them to feel disappointed in you. Disagree. I think impressions are pretty permanent, or at least generally permanent. You would love a job that requires you to work alone most of the time. I'd say generally disagree, slightly disagree, just because I like having to work with other people. I think a lot of worthwhile discussions can come from working with others. You believe that pondering abstract philosophical questions is a waste of time. Strongly disagree. You feel more drawn to places with busy, bustling atmospheres than quiet, intimate places. Neutral. I love cities. I love big cities because you never feel like you're alone. But I like quiet, intimate places as well. Libraries. I like cafes where nobody really talks. Being on the train. But generally, if it's in public, I like there to be a lot of people. I don't like suburban towns and things like that. But it's just, in private, I prefer a quieter environment. You know at first glance how someone is feeling. Disagree, but although I think it's hard for anyone to tell on someone's face if they're not really that emotive. You often feel overwhelmed. Slightly disagree. I think I'm handling things okay nowadays. You complete things methodically without skipping over any steps. Agree. I'm a very methodical person. I don't like skipping steps because I'm scared that I'll do something wrong. You are very intrigued by things labeled as controversial. Strongly agree. I will talk about anything. You would pass along a good opportunity if you thought someone else needed it more. Disagree. Strongly disagree. I would take any opportunity that I was given. Because I don't think it's necessarily taking away from someone else. Because I feel like it depends on the situation, obviously. If it was a very obvious choice between me getting like $10 million and someone who was homeless getting $10 million, I would not take the $10 million. I don't care about the situation. That would not be my choice. But I think it's very hard to discern what is taking away an opportunity from someone else. That's all. You struggle with deadlines. Slightly agree. I don't like them. You feel confident in things that things will work out for you. Strongly agree. That's why I don't put in max effort all the time, because I know that within the context of the situation I was born in, I will be fine. I have no issue knowing that I have been born in a good enough situation where I won't need to worry about a lot of huge life impending things all the time. I don't need to worry about getting a job to sustain my family. I get a job because I want to make money for college. I get a job because I want to have some extra pocket money. I don't need to drop out of school to work. I don't need to forego any of the classes I want to take or opportunities I want to have, summer camps, things like that. I don't need to postpone any of that. Or get rid of any fun activities like prom or whatever. I can take all these opportunities because I'm in the position to be able to. So I think I've been raised in a good enough environment and I've had enough opportunities where I can say that I don't need to worry about a lot of huge things. And then my gender, and then see results. I'm still the exact same that I was before. Okay, my personality type is a logician, which is the INTP, with a -T, which I actually don't know. INTP is what I've been before, and I think I've never not been INTP. So, mind, I am 55% introverted, 45% extrovert, so I'm an ambivert, and I think that makes sense. Energy, 72% intuitive, 28% observant. Where we direct our mental energy. I actually have no idea what this means. 72% intuitive. Oh, I think there's a description. Nature, 62% thinking, 38% feeling. That's pretty accurate. Tactics, 44% judging, 56% prospecting. Okay, so how we plan work. So basically, I don't do a lot of planning. I plan a lot theoretically. I plan a lot. I'm what I want to do, and then in application it kind of sucks. Identity. Oh, I'm pretty 50-50. 49% assertive, 51% turbulent. How confident we are in our abilities and decisions. Yeah. No thanks. Wow. Okay. This is insane. Yeah, this is a whole article. That's insane. Okay, that's very cool to know. I'll probably look more at this later. I don't know exactly what a lot of these mean. But that is all for the video. I will close this out now. And I want to thank you for following me on this journey. I know I talked a lot about a couple of deep things that maybe you didn't expect from a video like this, But I hope that maybe it made you think a little more, or maybe it was just interesting to listen to, or at least calming to listen to. So if you've saved any of your answers, you might want to go back and check for yourself. I think it's a very interesting test to take. I'm not exactly sure if it's going to be accurate for everyone, or if it's the best questions to ask for everyone, because I understand that different minds can think in different ways, but still can, present themselves differently. But I think it's interesting nonetheless. It might be funny for you. It might be just like a fun activity to do any given time. It doesn't take a long time at all. It takes a lot shorter when you're not talking. So I think it would be a good choice for anyone to do it if you haven't done it already. And if you've done it before, maybe take it again, see how you've changed, how you've grown. So yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being a part of this journey. And thank you for being here with me and being patient for my videos and my uploads. I'm sorry again that last week's upload was so late, but I'm hoping to get back on a pretty normal schedule because school is going to be out soon, thank God. So with that being said, I will see you in the next video.